Hey guys, how are you? So yeah, thank you all for writing in or submitting your stocks that we should look at. And of course, I wrote the post I think the day before or 2 days before the big tariffs from Mr. Trump. So again, a lot has happened, and the market has been under extreme pressure, nervous. Again, check the video that I just released here. You can see that on the Substack as well if you want to. And we will go through the charts, and there's actually one and a half, I will say, stock that is looking again about to break out. It could be a potential great investment. Again, we need to wait for the confirmation of that breakout. So good. Let's do it here again. A lot, basically everything has been smoked, especially Friday has been smoked big time. I would say 95% of all stuff has been getting hit so hard again. A lot of liquidation has happened in my view. So again, more on that in the video. You can check it in the video that I just posted here on the Substack as well. So we will take the first candidate, that is GRRR, Gorilla Technology Group. That is software, and not looking good by any means. We have our uptrend. Before we go to there, before we do that, this here, guys, again, I haven't, it's the first time that I see it. That is perfect entry. Perfect entry. And you can see it's getting respected here as well. You broke out, you did the back test, you rallied again. And then we have this little triangle here, and then, of course, smoked. And right now here, it doesn't look fantastic by any means because we have lost the entire uptrend. And the wedge that, again, broke to the downside. So there's nothing good here. There is a measured move that I want to show you. Wow, 50% really, that's insane. We could see 11 here for this bad boy with that whole head and shoulders right here. Little wiggle, 11 bucks. Or, we could undershoot to 11 here, that low here. We have a lot of support at 12.6, but the measured move from the topping pattern is 11. Excuse me, is 11. I need to oil my chair, as you can hear, maybe. It's squeaking. Good. Grab here. I want to zoom out. A little bit of a weird one. However, look at the level here at roughly 4 bucks. 4 bucks was the big ceiling. We made higher lows all the way, and then we finally broke backtest rally, and then we consolidated, did a bigger backtest, and we failed here. So right now, it doesn't look good. I will say it could go, we are now at 3.7, we could see 3.3 before anything major. So yeah, nothing really fancy about the stock here. Again, if you see these patterns here, where you have a bit of a very steep angle and you bear flag, you break that, you are out. It happened on oil, it happened longer term by the way, on platinum, it happens all over the place. And that to me is where you go into a longer term like that. Of course, Friday you have liquidation, so, but again, it could be, if we have our positive glasses on, positive, it could be something like that, so. Again, this looked like some sort of rounding, right? Some sort of rounding bottom here, and then puked, boom, Friday. A ton of volume coming in, so let's see here. Do we have a trend line here that goes and connects? No, not really, we don't. So yeah, again, doing this on the backside of such a major event, like we just saw in the past 2 days, I think is similar, but not yet as insane as 2020, but very similar, where you get these very big political things coming up. This is definitely one of them. IPI here, getting smoked again Friday. Again, we also talked about if we start to lose the yellow here and 28, things are not looking good, and that is also the case here. Again, we dropped down hard, and we're back below the very important 28. Very important 28. But as mentioned, everything got sold off big time here. If we're lucky, a low buy could be 21. If we get there. ASTS, that is space. mobile. Lovely entry there, by the way. I want to remove that so you can see it more clearly. So it had a massive run, and then it basically consolidated for a long time, breaking out, tried again, head and shoulders, there it is, and now we are coming down. Internal break as well, not looking good. The measured move is lower from that to that. So we're talking roughly $16.5 measured move from that topping pattern alone. So there should be more downside. That low there is important, you know, roughly 16, 17 here, the measured move. Overall long term, still constructive. Again, bull flag with some false breakouts. It might need to reduce. But yeah, I wouldn't be a buyer here. I would wait to see confirmation that we're holding all this stuff here. MEGEF, that is energy, big guy on the OTC. Little bit of history here, to a 10-year roughly level here at roughly 10, broken. Little bull flag below, breakout, retest, and then grinding, and now we're coming more and more down. From a breakout point of view, I wouldn't touch it until we break that blue there. I wouldn't even be a part of it, because that is the ceiling at this moment in time. And also here you have a lot of support coming in here at basically 10 down to 9. Between 10 and 9 could be a buy, stop loss below, and then you hopefully go for the breakout there. If we get down to there, we also have pulled back 60%. So between 10 and 9, wait for, you can buy into that with a stop directly, or look on the 2-hourly time frame to see if you can see any bottoming structure coming in, any volume, and you can have your buy, still use the stop loss below 9, by the way. OBE still looks good. Yes, the weak candle here is intimidating, to say the least here, because you have, again, look at the candle size compared to the last half a year. Big candle breaking below that range, not good. But it's not over just yet. Again, we're still looking at what a potential big head and shoulders, big head and shoulders play. And as long as we have this supply and demand here between 4 and 4.4, and therefore also the bull flag, as long as that holds here, it's looking really good. You can even buy into it here if you want to. You know, anywhere between 4 and 4.5, 4.4 you can buy, but you have to have a stop below at like 3.7 or so, otherwise you will get smoked, most likely. That is the aggressive buy, you know, buying when everyone is fearful. But again, you have to use the stop. It's very important to use that stop, by the way. Or again, just wait for the longer-term pattern to break, to play out, hopefully. Let's say it's going to come down, yada yada, then later on in 2026 maybe, we break 7 and we're along. It's a bit more low risk, but you're also paying a higher price. But again, the target is still quite up there, no matter which one you take. TUO, Teuton, I think it is, resources, not looking fantastic. We are going to remove that level just to show. Big trendline break a few weeks ago, but we confirmed definitely this week here. After we lost 0.92, that was basically the giveaway. We broke 0.92, and it has been down ever since, and we are now at 0.7. There is, however, again, I wouldn't urge you, but there is some support coming in here at roughly 64 cents on the stock here. And again, this looks, again, it's not the worst, again, but I'm not seeing any signs of a bottom here, but again, depending on how you want to do it, I'm still seeing a big correction. That was a massive move, by the way, holy bananas. But we just have to wait and see where the bottom is. And definitely that break there of the long-term golden trend line, the uptrend, that is never good. Now we have to see where it can find the bottom. Again, let's say if everything resolves itself to, you know, on Monday, which it won't, but if it does, and you're getting back in, then all of a sudden it's a completely different outlook. and then again you have a trend line coming down here that you can buy into. Again, wishful thinking, but if it happens, you have a plan, right? So if we start to do the retest, getting back above the gold, and then break the highs from here down to there, you're going long at roughly 1.3, let's say you're going long. False breakdown, and you could see 360. Again, it's a lower probability that it will happen, but if it happens, a false breakdown, you could definitely benefit from that, because from false breakouts or negation of patterns, you get a quick move in the other direction, very very sharp. This is one of them, agro. This is agriculture. Looks really good still. Meaning we don't buy here. No, you don't buy by any means. But again, the setup is great. We do have a little gap here that might need filling before anything. But again, we're looking back here at, what's that, 15 years? Very clean trend line, little fakey here, hit it again, wedge pattern, boom. That's the one to look for. The wedge pattern below major resistance. So again, once we start to trade north of 12 here, we're actually breaking out from that whole wedge. And then the big long term, of course, is 12.4. So maybe just wait for that if it happens. Just wait for it to break out from 12.5 or 12.6, because then you have taken out the two big resistances. And yeah, that's basically the game plan for this one here. And of course, if we do this, boom, you're out. If we close below the gap at roughly 10, game over for this stock here. Again, probability-wise, game over. Then we could see, boom, triangle low at 7. So from 10 to 7, you don't want to be a part of that. You would much rather sell than buy back at 7. It's a way better thing to do here. CVE, again, what a beautiful. Again, I had this on the energy list here. What a beautiful setup. Again, beautiful. These are the ones that, if they break to the upside, you have a very long, entry point. You can hold it for a long time, collecting 5% dividends. Fantastic, really. But that was not the case. We started to break down here back in December 2024, where we were hovering, around that lower trend line there, and then ultimately it gave in. We do also have some horizontal stuff here, by the way, so roughly there. So yeah, at this moment, where is the bottom, we don't know, but there is coming a lot of support in here. You can see over there, right there, you can see a lot of wicks, beep, beep. Again, this is supply and demand right here from both sides. So if you start to see buyers between 10.5 and 11.5, then look for longs, and a stop below, of course. Look for longs. Again, keep in mind, the markets right now are crazy, so nothing is normal in this day and age, given the past 2 days. IPCO, that is also petroleum, so oil and gas. Very clean ceiling, massive stiff resistance. And the way I play these, and I think, again, this is my take on them, if you get a break, again, this is a trend line that is sloping up. So if you get a break to the upside, you would want to sell into that, again, depending on how you measure, what tools you have, but you would want to sell into that, because often you see a check back really quickly. And sometimes you even see this thing here, you tag, and then you break down even lower. So that's why it's not my favorite long-term setup, but you can definitely make a ton of money within a very, very short period of time if you buy into the spike there. The current setup here is that if we lose this lower golden here, then it is not looking good at all for IPCO here. And where could this take us? I will say there is, again, the triangle low is somewhere around here at 6.5-ish. It's not totally clear. So in worst case, or best if you want to buy low, again, you're getting 0% dividend. It is what it is. When we get somewhere down to like 7.5, maybe a tad lower, depending, then that's the greedy buy target. The obvious one is here at the previous all-time high, right, roughly at $10 here, $10. That's when you want to start to look for longs and look for bottoming patterns if we break. Again, it's all if. If this, then you do that. It's all one big, very simple equation, you know, like an if statement in software. So if you break this one here, which is roughly now at 16-ish, that's bad. That's really, really bad. Very bad weekly candle also. You can see we're basically taking out the entire 2025 in 1 week. And all of that is done in 2 days. So is this the start of something bigger collapsing? Or is this just the short-term fear that is, of course, understandably so, coming out from Trump, from China and all that good stuff? So, because I think, again, I'm not a fundamental guy, but again, if these tariffs is going to stay on, again, I think what he's doing, again, I could be totally wrong. I think 2 things. Trump wants the rates to come down for Q2 because that's when they have to roll over, I think it's $6 trillion in debt. So they want the lowest as possible rates in order to kick the snowball a little bit further. That's number 1. Number 2, the tariffs he has put on is, again, they are so big. So anyways, I think it's just for negotiation because you can already see countries coming back and say, let's negotiate these tariffs. And I think it was Argentina that actually said, hey, let's remove all tariffs from Argentina and then you remove the ones you've just put on us. So I think that's his game plan. And also, people, I haven't read it, but The Art of War, I think it's a book from, from China. Very old book, I think. And the thing he's doing there, the theory or the strategic behind it is from that book. I've heard. I haven't read it, so I wouldn't be able to confirm it. But anyways, a different route here. EMX, that is gold. Royalty. No, again, if I buy a royalty company in gold or in any sector, I want dividends. And right now it says no dividend. So, yeah, that's just me though. However, a very beautiful entry could be made when and if we break here at roughly 2.20. So 2.20 on this stock here, I love it. I really do, because you're having the whole bottoming structure. You have head and shoulders, you have a lot of good stuff. So again, if we get this little handle here, so over the next quarter, you make a bull flag here and you break. Perfect. So this one again looks really good here. It's not collapsing by any means, even though last week was iffy. But still, it is a beautiful cup and handle play that is most likely in the making here. Of course, we could see some big stuff if the world leaders are going totally mayhem, then different story. Just like we saw here, by the way, the big boom cube. But it looks really, really good here, and hopefully if they start to pay like 5% dividends, and you can get it at 2.20, fantastic. First target will be for me here 290, and then all-time highs at 3.8. That's based on this alone, not the measured moves, but that's the targets that is just close by. Looks really good. Still, even though we sold heavily, for the past 2 days, looks really, really, really good. CXBMF, that is also precious metals, non-energy, Sunibre or Calibre mining. Big guy actually, 1.5, really good. But also note the 2.3 here, 2.32. Big ceiling, right? Big ceiling. So, interesting setup comes in here, because if we can break that, let's say we have a little dribble, we break on the 4th, by all means go very, very long with a stop below that level. You break on the 4th, fantastic. Measured moves, again, greedy targets are way higher. But I will definitely, you can see here, I'll add this to our list because it's really good, to be honest. Subs only, there it is. So that is the long play. Once we break roughly 2.3, 2.4, long. However, if we break the wedge here, if you can short it, sure, do that, but then we're going to see a lot more downside. So if we start to basically, if you have a position, I would get out. I really would get out at that point in time. Just wait for a better day, or just to to see what's gonna happen. But that is never good, because then you could actually see a lot of low prices all of a sudden come in. So you could break at roughly, depending, like a tad below $2, and in worst case you could go down to this whole head and shoulders neckline down here at roughly 0.9. So you're talking over 50% potential of that breakage there. But overall, still, again, a break of 2.4, amazing, really good, really good. CERT, Colorado Gold. I still love the setup here, even though it got kicked in the face, Friday and the day before. Fine, that's okay. But long-term break here, right? That is the golden trend line we're trying to break out. And look here, a hidden, it's not hidden by any means, but look at the cup and handle here. The cup here, whoopty, and the handle. So if we can start to trade, again, north of, again, we have some wiggle stuff here, but especially over 0.55, so 55 cents, very good long on that part, and the stop should be below 50 cents, so you're getting 10% risk at that point in time. But yeah, looks good here. Again, it looks good. Does it mean that we will get the breakout? No. But it's, again, the risk reward comes here, and you have a stop there, in my opinion. So let's see here. The risk of this one here, I will say, is if we start to trade, something like this, right? Something like that. It's not picture perfect due to the stock, it's a little bit wicked. But if we start to trade below the blue and the golden here, so anything below 40 cents is scary, because then we will probably see 32 cents quickly. So again, volatility is extremely low here for the past 1 year, and that's good. That's when we want to be interested. And if we break out here, very bullish, very bearish. So I love these, if that, very binary, and that's why we need the low volatility, because that's when you are often wrong if you break out. So if you have a very tight compression and it breaks to the upside, boom, that's when you go long. Because then all the momentum is exploding in that direction most of the time. So that is all, guys. I think there are actually two and a half. That is really good. A lot of the other stuff has broken down or is in this, what's it called, limbo. Not doing a whole lot, struggling together with all markets. So yeah, that's it, guys. I will make a new post because I will do this 3 times per week, so you can, again, get your answers done on the stock here, on the stocks that you want. I will have a look. It is what it is, guys. Let's see what Monday brings. It's again, wild times, and nothing. Again, if we get a lot of selling, that is buying opportunity. It really is, especially in gold and silver and energy, because if this goes really bad, the solution in order to kickstart again the economy is money printing. Energy, gold, silver will do well. Again, it just depends on how much it will drop before we get the money printing. Anyway, different story, guys. Have a great day.